Hello, welcome to Daniel Lee Plastering and Rendering's YouTube channel. Daniel here, and you are watching the final part of the Microcement system. This is a ensuite bathroom, and we're doing a waterproof Microcement walls here. And I am currently on the final sanding of the final colour coat of marble. So this has had 2 base coats with reinforcement mesh, a further 2 coloured coats of the chosen colour, which in this instance is a lovely stucco white. Stucco meaning in this instance sort of has a grey, cloudy bits and specks sort of that show through. And we will now be doing the 2 final sealants. So as you can see, I'm giving it all a final sand with the colour coat. It wants a nice 240 grain sandpaper, works wonderfully well. This is just before in preparation for the sealing, and this is the epoxy sealer that I will be using. It's a 2-part sealer. Because everything we're doing is a high-end finish, we need to ensure we're using only the cleanest tools and equipment, and also working with white. So you can see I'm cleaning my roller there quite thoroughly. I did clean it before, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I will also be putting a brand new microfiber roller on it as well. Unfortunately, the sealers are so tough and brutal that I'm yet to find a cost-effective way to reuse my rollers. So basically each coat of epoxy sealant requires a brand new microfiber roller. I also put a brand new liner in the paint tray as well. And you can see that was an old paintbrush. I like a brand new paintbrush for the edges as well. Again, this epoxy is brutal on your paintbrushes and rollers. That is the part 2 there. And the customer has chosen a gloss finish. So that's one litre. That should do about 10 square meters. You only mix up as much as you need, but in this instance I need about that. So I can mix up all of that. So, and my tray can hold over a litre, so I can just pour it straight into my paint tray, which is quite useful. If you're doing a much bigger area, you might want to do it in a clean bucket. Don't want to waste any, it's not cheap stuff. And now with this, you mustn't mechanically mix this. You don't want to get air. You really want to minimize the air. So definitely don't use a big mixer or mechanical mixer. All you need to do is give it a simple, gentle stir with, in my case, I've got a lovely clean paint stirrer there, but a stick will do. Anything really to just give it a gentle stir, and that will mix the 2 liquids. They mix incredibly easily. It doesn't take long at all, and that will help just bond the sealant. Once this has happened, you've got approximately 45 minutes now to use this before it starts sort of setting and reacting and turning. Remember to clean your tools. Very important. Everything in Microcement, clean, clean, clean. You don't want anything getting in you. You're working with a decorative finish. And you can see there, I'm filling up the roller, and I always start at the bottom. And when applying this with a roller, it's quite different from how you would apply paint. So start at the bottom and work your way up, because you will be effectively slightly staining it as you're sealing it. So any drips from up above could leave stain lines if you start at the top and go bottom. So always start at the bottom. You want to work in short random movements. This will help hide the roll lines, because what you don't want is a big roller line showing through your marble or micro cement. This is very high suction for the very first coat, and you want to go over the area at least 4 or 5 times, like you can see I'm doing there in a random. I'm going over it and over it and over it, all random, making sure it's really pressed in, stopping, making sure there's no drips, no spills, but also a very thorough coating. And then as I do this as well, once I've completed the wall, one wall, say approximately 10-15 minutes say, I will then go back to that wall and go over it again with the same roller, but without putting any extra sealant on the roller, just to check and roll in, make sure you want to sort of minimize the air bubbles, try and keep it nice and flat, you don't want any drips, and then doing that will just help give it all a nice even coating without showing what you don't really want is any brush marks or roller lines. I should also warn you, it's an epoxy sealer, very strong and quite potent, so it does have quite a smell. Now once the sealer has been applied, it will need at least 12 hours, so ideally leave it a day, come back the next day to apply the final coat. And before you apply the final coat, which is the exact same procedure again, you give it a light sand, so exactly what I'm doing then. Orbital sander, 125mm orbital sander works fantastically. Perhaps smaller detail sanders for your little bits, or you can even just use a bit of sandpaper in your hands. But at grade, I found 240 grade sandpaper works beautifully, and you're just checking for any bits of dust or debris that might have floated into the wall as it's curing that you sort of not noticed. And then once that's done, have a good clean up, a good tidy, remove all the tapes, and you are finished. And that is one beautiful stucco white micro cement bathroom. Now that is fantastic stuff. That can take a good soaking. It's anti-mold, anti-fungicide. It's fantastically resilient to all water, moisture, mold, damp. Just amazing for bathrooms, kitchens. They also make fantastic feature walls. They're super hardy. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See you on the next one.